So good morning, everybody. Good morning, people here and in Tanzania. Today is December 9th, 2023, our last meeting for the year. So we're going to try and do a lot of summaries of things that we have done through this year, and then some of the plans that we have for next year and the years to come. And then more details for what exactly we're going to do next year. It's going to be on the January meeting, which I'm going to share the dates with you. So right now is 9:04, and I think Mr. Frank, Mrs. Brevergus, Dr. Gwen, Mr. Steve Jones, and Mrs. Victoria Jones for being here on time. So we're just going to start right now. And to start with, I'm just going to say thank you, everybody who has been with Qhsc, the volunteers, global volunteers here in the US and in Tanzania, and all the donors, individual donors, group donors. I mean, all those people have helped Qhsc to do what they needed to do for this year. And then we're going to ask you to come with us again for next year and the years to come to help us accomplish and meet our goals and complete our mission, which is to provide education and training for the healthcare workers, and also reach out to our communities here in the US and communities in Tanzania and other countries that God afforded us the opportunity to go and help. I thank all the volunteers for your time, your giving your donations, just the money and time that you took off from your families and work, and you decide to go with us for the medical mission. We have something at the end of this meeting of saying thank you to you, and that's just a list of the things that we could afford to do at this time, but we just thank you enough for your time and your belief in us for what we do every day. So thank you again for everything you've done for 2023. And now I'm going to ask you again to come with us so we can continue doing the work that we are put here in the world to do. Okay. Okay, so this is 2023 end of the year summary of activities. Today is the 12/9/2023. So the agenda, as I posted it before, yes, it's there. So the agenda today, we're going to discuss the summary of 2023 Qhsc activities. We're going to discuss what we learned from the medical mission, the matching fund, how we raise the money for this year, and then what are plans for next year, the budget, how much did we use, and what we expect for the coming years, how often are we going to meet, and then the training, which are the topics that already been selected now, but it can change. It depends on the demand at the from the hospital that we are aiming this training for. And then tentative dates for the medical mission next year, and then community outreach, that the project that we are doing now we'll be doing for future. And then different opportunities. If somebody wants to come and work with Qhsc, we are welcoming for you to come and help us. And then at the end, we have a thank you note for the global volunteer who really donate their time, money, and expertise to go and help us and take care of the people in Tanzania. So we have a little thank you note for you guys. And then at the end, we're going to do the discussion comments. Please share whatever ideas you have, you think will be beneficial for Qhsc, because we are willing to grow. And if there's something that you hope we can improve on, please let us know, because that's the only way we can do it. Because remember, we are doing these things from our eyes. So if you have a different suggestion, we welcome it. And if it's within our scope, then we'll be able to change and improve. So I'm advancing my gratitude for all the ideas that you have, you can share with us. Next slide. So this is for the people who went to the medical mission. So there was 20 plus one, because we had 14 to start with. And then we had other people from Tanzania to come and help us. And then also we had people who went and distribute the items after we left from there. So thank you, everybody. Next. So these are the projects and activities that we did during the medical mission. We had the nutrition program with the hydration. Thank you, Mrs. Behuniak. We were able to feed the students for 9 days. In fact, we added another day. when they went to donate stuff for school. And then we were able to take care of the 330 kids for those days. We were able to do hearing screening and vision screening, nutrition training for the children and the parents. And then, of course, there's a lot of lesson learned from that, from the nutrition, but you're going to hear when Mrs. Behuniak starts sharing the videos and the work that she's doing for planning for next year. So you will hear more from that. Compression and ventilation, thank you, Mrs. Bree Freeman, for the CPR. We were able to teach Kiro. We did 20 people plus. I mean, there will be more than that, but majority of them, we stay there to teach with them. Mananyamara, we did 46, and then Magnet, we did 45. So, and then everyone who attended those training, we give them the certificate just of attendance to acknowledge that they came and get that training. And then again, for postpartum hemorrhage, again, thank you, Mrs. Bree. We had the postpartum Mananyamara, we were able to do quantification of blood loss on 23 patients. And then for Amana, we did 5. Because Amana, we only had probably like 3/4 of a day, not necessarily a whole shift, but we were able to do to see and taking care of those 5 patients. For thermoregulation, Dr. Msambichaka, thank you very much for your leadership and organization for that group. There was more patients when they were doing rounds that was seen. And then, of course, they able to do walk through like with the 3 hospital with all the doctors. So we are going to try and strengthening that part, like make it a routine and be able to attend those rounds early on, because to me it was beneficial for the doctors and nurses there to see them at the bedside and for them to be able to ask questions while the patients are there. So I think that was, to me, it was even better than just teaching the doctors and nurses on the side versus in front of the, to having the patients right there in front of you. Because then at least you have to have an experiential, clinical experience for the patient who is there and actually with the diagnosis, so that they can learn from there. Help Baby Breathe, again, Dr. Msambichaka and her team, she was able to train our nursing students also to participate in that part, and I think they had too much fun taking care of those babies and be able to do the Help Baby Breathe training for the nurses and the doctors. Vision screening, Dr. Redempta and Mr. Jones, thank you very much. You guys were able to see 235 people, kids were 73, and adults were 162. That is the biggest number, at least for this year, because we've never done adults, and you can see the need for the vision screening, this program. So, and thank you, Mr. Jones, already for volunteering to want to be up front and participate in this project. So we appreciate you. There are a couple of things that we're going to change. I'm going to discuss a little bit later, that to make the program better and then a little bit more consistent, and then to make it the process a little bit easier for us to follow. Hearing screening, Dr. Msambichaka and Dr. Sharon, thank you, thank you, thank you. I cannot thank you enough. You guys did an amazing job. And the people who were helping with you, you were able to treat at least 20 people plus for those children. And we know for sure some of the children have never had anybody checking their ears, and a lot of things that go unchecked, and then those children will never be able to read or hear anything. And then, of course, it's going to impact their education. Language technique, Mr. Siakabe, thank you for the introduction of that program. So more like we might continue with that program again next year. So we're gonna expect your leadership to be able to organize and continue doing for the teachers and the students and whatever the group you have there. So that was well received, so thank you. ICU and theater, Dr. Gwen Randall and your group, thank you very much for the ICU train, which we all realized it's so much needed, and we can see from the demand that they were asking you day in and day out to go and help them and the need for the training. So we definitely want to strengthen that program to make sure we consistently provide education that is long lasting for the nurses and doctors, especially in ICU, to take care of those patients. School activities, Mr. Siakabe, Mr. Steve Jones, and the whole group of people who went there, Christine Peters, and I think Leah and Lucia and Mrs. Behuniak. Thank you very much for doing that part, because the children definitely needed support, and you guys were there to help them. Magnet, definitely Dr. Sharon for that presentation, Bree for the CPR, Dr. Msambichaka for the health education. thank you for all those because those children definitely needed to hear those training, and they need it for them to be healthy and athletic in that area. School collaboration, Mrs. Victoria Jones, thank you very much. And of course, Mr. Steve Jones and Mr. Siakabe for working together and collaborate. And we need to strengthen this group because it's an expectation that it's going to be happening throughout the year. So we need to probably meet. And I know Mr. Siakabe was having a plan of creating a group and try to start working early on to make sure we understand and know the process and try to distribute the resources and to make sure we have enough here and in Tanzania to be able to collaborate that and then impact the kids, because we don't want to start and then stop in the middle because we didn't think through it. So we're going to start asking you guys for your time and plans so we can address that part, because we know it was very well received for the kids. The teachers are still asking me now, when are we doing it again? So we have to have a little plan to make it more practical for them and then logistically for us up here to be able to run that program throughout the year. And people from Tanzania who wants to work with us through the Qhsc, then let us know. And then so we can have somebody who is consistent on the other side so that we can run this program smoothly. And then last but not least, thank you, Mr. Mashangaloba, for the sanitary pad education, because that was a nice receive, and the girls, oh my goodness, they were so happy. And all those videos, you can tell that they did appreciate that. So thank you very much. So back home, so what did we do with the community outreach? So this year was the first year we at least committed ourselves as a Qhsc, committed throughout to participate in volunteering throughout the year. So we were touching through different programs to try and make sure our Qhsc presence is felt in the community. So to start with, we were working with Cross Ministries. So those are the dates you can see we were able to go there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we went almost 8 times throughout the year to be able to go and volunteer. Thank you for everybody who came. You can see their names over there. These people will be going to work and then come back over there at the end of the day for 2 hours every last Thursday of each month. To try and help sorting the food and try to plan and then help the cross ministries to be able to secure these bags and deliver them on the kitchens for the people who really need. One of the group was the homeless people who needs this food to survive. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm going to ask you again for next year, once we publish the dates, the cross ministry is going to continue, and then so you'll be able to go and help. Yes, they always ask between 5 and 7 people, and we exceeded that request. We always have at least 5, 6, 7 people. The last time we had 8 people, and they were so happy. We were supposed to fill the bag on, I think, the 3 crates, but we did 5. So thank you again for everything you guys have done and always volunteering when I ask you. So I'm going to ask you again to try and help me for next year to do the same thing. And then one of the projects that I almost forgot is we did the back to school bash. Thank you, Ms. Valentine, for organizing that part. We were able to go to school and it was so much fun. We are going to start doing similar projects like that to try and help the kids, especially if there's a lot of health related screening that we can do up here. So all the healthcare workers and even people who are not healthcare person, you can still help us logistically to try and help them registrations and in trying to guiding lines and all stuff, help sorting out the stuff. So you can help us with that. So don't say that, oh, because it's a health screening commitment, I can't do. No, we need every single person here. Yes, we do need the healthcare workers to do the healthcare things, but anybody can come and do. And as I said, we're going to publish the dates, and then just pick up on the days that you can, and please let me know so I can put you down, and then we'll be able to remind you in between. And then we go and save our community, because without the healthy community, nobody's going to be here. So thank you again. Okay, so with the education, what we did, we finished for this year, 2023, we did 3 online training. It was a little bit hard in the beginning because it's sorting out the date for the hospital to allow people to come, and also for the participants to make sure they have time for their dates. So majority of the time, we'll be planning like 2 months in ahead, and then we know healthcare workers, you don't get those time off easily to be able to come and attend this. But even if it's like an hour and a half, still we need to have to plan better. So for next year, I've already selected certain dates that we'll be able to do it. So at least you have almost 6-8 months to plan ahead to say, okay, this is the day that I might be able to do it. Maybe this is the better day. Instead of Thursday, I'm willing to do Wednesday. So as long as we can get somebody who can help also with the logistic camera and stuff, those things will be able to be done a little bit easier. So there's a lot of stuff that we can do to make it better. So, and if you afforded that opportunity to come and present for us, please go ahead and let us know so we can put you down and then try to find a group of people that can impact the community and then teach them and make sure they understand. So we want to do those the training before we go to Tanzania, because when we go to Tanzania, those are the topics that area that we are going to expect the people in Tanzania know, so we can be able to, like when you're working with somebody else who has the same background content-wise, so it's going to make it a little bit easier for them to impact and actually put those lessons into practice. So that's what we want to do for next year. Next. Okay, so I know a couple of people have already sent me some information and asking for what exactly do we need to know. So there's a lot of stuff that were done during the preparation for the medical mission and all those stuff. So we know there's some learning opportunities that we need to do, but we always do almost last minute. So the problem with that part, if we do last minute, then we end up like taxing the people who are volunteering to do extra work. But now we learn from that, and then we want to plan it ahead very well, so then we don't exhaust the people who are volunteering just before going to the medical mission. So what does that mean? So that means that we're going to try and recruit people a little bit early, so then we can have people who know their areas and start discussing those things early. We don't wait until the last minute. So if the resources are needed, so we can try and collect those resources early on and ship it. So when we get there, we have resources that we need for next year for the medical mission. Yes, expertise in those areas. So the project also are going to depend on the expertise, the volunteering of the expertise who wants to go to Tanzania. So for example, if we want to go and teach CPR and there's nobody who is going to be teaching CPR volunteer to go to Tanzania, that's going to be hard for that project to survive, because we need that person who is expert in CPR to go and do that part. So that's just an example, which I know we get plenty of them because people had too much fun this year teaching the CPR. So I'm sure we're going to get more people who wants to be involved. And we want to expand that area to make sure we get more people. That means we need more volunteers on that area. And I know Bree has been working so hard to make sure that we get everything we need. We prepare those healthcare workers before and we get there. And then when we get there, it's going to be smooth sailing, meaning like they know the theory, now we need to do hands-on. And we're going to expand that part because we want to get as many people as we can in the hospital and as many people as we can in the community. So it's going to be a huge project. And that's what we learned from this one. For people who were teaching CPR, you can attest to that there's a lot of people who need CPR, not only healthcare workers, even in the community, because they want to be able to help their family member, co-worker, friends, neighbors to save their life. So we knew the previous assumption that they didn't think the CPR leads to survival, but we need to change that part. And then it's not going to end up only those 3 hospitals that we selected. We're going to have to reach further and go in the community. So I'm going to need more people to come and work with Bree and figure it out, and then be more active in those areas. So that's why we say the project that I'm going to say we're going to do this next year. Also, that one is dependent on the people who want to take initiative on those areas and who's going to be committed to see that program through. And that's what we want, because we don't want to have 20 projects and then we have 1 or 10 volunteers and then ask people to do 2 projects at once, which they cannot fulfill that part because each project requires a lot. So it's going to be a lot of discussion, and that's what I welcome all your discussion early on, so we can make it better and less stressful for the volunteers. So when we go there at least, yes, we go and work with them and train them. And then at the end of the day, at least we have some energy left for us also to relax and enjoy ourselves. So that's the plan that we need to do. We need to focus on volunteering. So people who are want to go to do the school, that's fine. Then what are you going to be doing in the school? What is your contribution for school? And what do you think is going to make it better? How much can you impact those kids or their parents? And we know for sure vision screening for the parents was a hit. People from school, they know that even now the parents are showing up to say, when are they coming back? So those are the things that we want to make sure that next year they should not ask that question. Next year they should feel the impact that QHSC was here to come and help us. So those are things that we want to make sure we do it, and we're going to discuss towards the end. Yes, you're right to go to the next slide. Okay, so how did we raise funds? So we were grateful for this year that people came out and helped us. People came and took different projects. And I thank everybody who did that, take one project and then go with it and raise money or collect the supplies to be able to do it. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Okay, so for next year, we are trying to do things a little bit efficiently. So we are trying to get people who know certain corporations or institutions, or if you're working in the area that offer those matching funds. So sometimes you don't have to do something specific for that organization. Sometimes it's just to acknowledge and alert them that, okay, I'm volunteering with QHSC. And then my hours of volunteering are this. Even meetings, for example, for you attending the meeting today, you can say the meeting was an hour, 2 hours. I volunteer my time to go to the meeting, even if you did not contribute, although we encourage you to contribute. Contribute means like discussion or anything else, but at least for you attending to that meeting, and then having the time and like the document that you did go to those meetings. We are happy for the QHSC to say, yes, she came or he came to the meeting at these hours. He has been coming to the meeting regularly for the whole year. These are the 10 or 20 hours that person is volunteers to the QHSC. And then usually the organization will grant you those hours in monetary to help the QHSC. So you're not going to get the cash yourself. The money is going to go straight to the QHSC because you have to fill out the information. So all you need to do is just let me know, say my organization is doing wherever the matching funds, and these are the requirement or request. And then so QHSC is going to be happy to say, yes, we can give report that you attended meetings, or you came to volunteer to, like sorting food, you came to volunteer doing CPR in the community. So those times that we write it down for you, then your organization is going to be able to give us those funds to try and support the function of the QHSC. So I will encourage anybody who has that ability to find out from your corporation if they support volunteer work. A lot of corporations or organizations wants that because they encourage, when you do that, they're going to see, like, maybe I'm going to give an example for HCA. So HCA loves this part because they want to have that bragging right, saying that our staff, our employees volunteer in the community. So when you go to the community, they're like, okay, oh yes, our nurses or doctors or PCT, sorry, or environmental services from HCA volunteer in the community, value the community. So the community sees that, and then of course the HCA get the credit, which is okay. I'm not complaining about that part, but at least you can say, okay, I volunteer there because I'm supporting QHC organization. So the organization gets money, wherever the allotted amount they do, it's already standard throughout the corporations. So that's one. So let me know if your organization does that. If it doesn't, let me know if you're interested in doing that, so then we can work through and find organizations that could, and then you can help us apply so we can get the information and the funds that way. Corporate fundraising, so definitely we are still working on it, trying to prepare the information and then start sending on the corporations. If you know the corporation that could support us and they need maybe they want to be able to give us, to sponsor us for those activities, we are willing to accept their logos and advertise them, whether when we're doing the training or we're doing the CPR or we're doing whatever an advertisement, we can include their logos in our work, so on the flyers. And then if they want the follow-up, yes, we give it to them and say, this is what is we're using, and branding their support. Majority of the corporation, we like that because they're gonna get a free publicity. In a way that they don't have to actually pay for advertisement expenses, because if we are doing community outreach and we said, oh, thanks to HCA for supporting us, they're getting credit also, because they like, oh, so HCA support community outreach. And so then if let's say HCA is selling stuff, then people will go and buy stuff because HCA is supporting the community activities. That's how they get a free publicity, instead of them like creating the advertisement and go and start paying for the advertisement and billboards too. But they get word of mouth and free publicity for people who are in the community. So something like that, then we can work with those corporations and try to say, okay, if we do the training, we publicize your name, then they give us monies to support the function of QHSC. Cliff Bars, I know Mrs. Teresa Cooper and Mrs. Christine Behuniak have been working so hard with that, and we've been able to do that. I'm not sure about next year if we'll be able to do the Cliff Bar, but we keep praying and hoping that they continue. But we can have similar funds. So if we think there's a group that have something that will be beneficial for what we are doing for QHSC, please let us know. If there's something that you think maybe we should reach out for those organizations, please let us know. We can work with you and then help on that process. Yes, we have done using the social media, Facebook, yes, birthdays, events, and stuff like that. Usually those, does raise a little money, and if people are willing to do that part, and then, we'll let you know. You don't have to start collecting and then start sending the money to us. No, usually when you are creating an account for that fundraising event, then we give you the organization number, and then usually things behind the scene happens. We already registered our QHSC in those different groups, so they will get information no matter what. And then the money if people donate, you don't even have to touch the money. The money goes straight to the QHSC, so you don't have to worry about, oh, I don't want to have lump sum of money on myself. No, we can help you with the process in the beginning, and then everything else just goes straight to QHSC. Qhsc, thank you, Bree. She's been working tirelessly. So this year we had a little pilot for that, and it was a successful because we did not lose money. So thank God we were able to raise, even if we were small, but it was just like a way of trying to figure out if how to get the income to the organization. Can we use that avenue or platform? So we do know there's some challenges we have to learn through and learn from it and improve. But yes, so it has been helpful. We were able to get some money back, like we raised money for the organization. So thank you for everybody who was spending their money to buy all those items in the QHSC Qhsc store. That does help. And then so next year we are trying to be a little bit more aggressive. And then when it's time, Bree is working on other stuff. When it's time to publicize that part, I'm going to ask every single one of you to be able to help us spread the word so we can get to buy, they can go and buy those items and then help QHSC that way. And then so one of the things that we are hoping for next year is to doing the gala. So the gala is usually it's an organized event which you do fundraising through that event. On that event, usually we have people who are buying tickets. That's how we raise funds. Let's say if the dinner is, the event is $100 per person, for example, and then the dinner probably is like $50. So then at least you raise that another $50 to the organization. Yes, it's a little bit pricey in a sense that we're trying to get people to help us, but also in return, we show them what we have been doing so far and what we do with their support. And then so other places that I've been and those galas I've went through is they showcase, like, for example, what we did for the medical mission, what we did for the volunteering, and what activities are we doing for the funds that people are giving us. So let's say if people give us $1.50, that is going to feed a child for 5 days. So when you show them, and then you show the picture that we collected, I think it was like $1,300, we were able to feed 830 kids for 10 days. So people will see that, okay, if I give you almost $500, then at least I can just feed half of the school for that, maybe 4 days or 3 days. So that's what we want, that impact. People have to get to see it, that yes, whatever money you're donating to us, it's going to be useful. And we show them exactly, you give us this amount of money, this is the amount of money went to this event or these activities. So the gala is always a great place to raise funds. It's a targeted event because you have to get the corporations or groups to commit even before the event. So you know for sure if 100 people are coming, you are more likely going to get this amount of money. And then, and what are you going to give back to them? So, so we always try to think ahead of that part, because we want to make sure that person who is donating will see the value of the money that they're donating, small or large, and what exactly you're going to do with that money. So we have to be a little bit more careful. So that's why the tentative date for our first gala is going to be next year, December 6th. At the moment right now, we're looking for Thursday. So if you have experience in working gala, please come and let me know. I can use extra hands because we want to make sure we do that, make it plan. By the time we start advertising maybe in May, we already have the sponsors already, because you're not going to advertise this and get only 2 sponsors and you promise them to have this grandiose activity and then you don't have enough. So that activity has to be started now, like right now when I'm talking about. So if people have an experience like that, please come and join me. And then we can get started and start looking through the people who can help or who have similar goals for the community, for the healthcare workers, for schools, anybody who can help, then please. Oh, thank you, Dr. Gwen. Yay! Yes, we'll be happy to do that, because it's going to require a lot of stuff, like getting the caterers, getting the hall. It has to be a nice place. And so to attract that people, when they come, we give them a sense of what we are doing, what the Qhsc is about. So we do need to have people who are thinking outside the box. We have to think big. And then, so once we do the first event, and then usually it's going to be an annual. So definitely whatever we are raising, quarter of it is going to go back to wherever we started and planning stuff for the next year. So when you commit to this group, I'm going to ask you, it's going to be an ongoing, not one-time thing, and then you disappear. If something happens, you move, whatever, I understand. But I'm hoping that because to create consistency and learn from what we do, I need people who are committed, ongoing and continuously. So when we start planning now, then activity, so maybe this year, one thing maybe didn't work, we thought it's going to work well, and then so next year we can improve. But if we keep turning over people, we're not going to know, or we're not going to learn those opportunities to be able to improve for the following year, because we want to make sure it's going to give us more funds than just having a good time. And of course, who doesn't like to go dress up and go somewhere else nice and then be able to enjoy with Qhsc family together and be able to say, okay, job well done, thank you, let's go back again next year. So that's the part which we are hoping to be able to start creating, and then all the work that we do throughout the year, then we can showcase and tell people that, yes, we are doing a lot of work and we are trying to do our part to make a world a better place. And then by either training or supporting, and make sure that this is, even for vision screening, people at least they can see their kids and, improve their life. That's what we want. And then if we're doing that, we might as well come and celebrate at the end of the year. So if we get a group and then people say maybe December is not, maybe it's too close, or we can change the date, that's okay. But at least we need to be able to see. Usually sometimes people like to go out and do this event during the holiday time. So at least getting close to that part. So either November or December, if the date is agreeable, that's fine. Then we'll discuss with that small group that will be willing to do those things. And that's what I'm counting on, because I have my reason why we suggested December 6th. But if somebody comes in and say, oh, I have worked with these people, and then whatever group, and these are the days that most people will volunteer or donate, or we talk to different organizations, they prefer this day versus that day, and whatever. That is open for discussion. As long as we come in prepared and bring our suggestion, I'm happy, and I'm looking forward to work with whoever wants to work with me, including Dr. Gwen. Thank you. Okay, individual donors. This is the most important part, I believe, for all the nonprofit organizations, because I value every single person who give us money, time, and willingness to help others. So I cherish even if somebody give me $5, because I know they took that $5 from something else that they could afford and do it, and gave it to us so to support our mission. So definitely would never forget the individual donors, because those are the ones who are the foundation, because they're small amount, yes, but they give it with what they're hoping that we're going to use that money wisely. I'm also grateful for people who can afford and give us more than that, but definitely. But I'm trying to say that the individual donors are valuable also to be included in their ideas. So even if somebody come and say, I'll give you $10, but this is my suggestion, if maybe the organization can do that, I would take that idea. The same way I would take the idea for someone who said, okay, I have $1 million and I want to support you, but you have to do that part. As long as it's not beyond of what we can do out of our bylaws, then we can support, we can welcome the ideas. The reason I'm saying that part is like, we value every single person who could use the money elsewhere and decide to give it to us. We want them to come and work with us and hang out with us and give us ideas to make it better so we can function very well. So that's it for the funds and support. We're going to discuss more when, if you guys have any ideas when you get to the discussion part. I'm almost there. Next slide. Okay, so the budget. So for this year, the income, this is including, like all the volunteers contribution, also what we raise from the membership, what we raise from social media and stuff. So we got at least like $60,000 and $715.51. So part of it, I mean, the distribution is like on the social media, we got almost like $35, $24. In-kind donation, the flights, those are the value, the donations were almost like $6,579.62. In-kind donation that was shipped, it was 2,833. And then the global volunteer, that's the part which they are giving the for the logistic and stuff, because that goes through the organization. It was $41,000 and stuff. And then cash donations. So this is the people who, as I said, those are individual donors. You can see how much they give us. And that's why I said we always eternally grateful for them. $6,000, $297 there. That's definitely a lot of money. Yes, Qhsc, as I said, it was like a piloting. We were trying to work through it. Thanks, Bree, for being patient and running around back and forth with those numbers. But yes, we were able to raise at least $107 and 9 cents. So we are trying to make it better so we can get a bit more, but at least now we know what the areas, how to do it. And then so we can get a little bit more and then expand that business beyond Qhsc items. So we know medical mission, the expenses that we were planning to do that, but it was $71,000. And then so the budget for the whole Qhsc was 74. So you can see there's a little difference there. So we have a little money, but 2022 we have all the expenses and collections. It was so $191,000 That comes with a lot of donation last year, and we also had 47 volunteers. So you can see now we had close to 20, and it's almost a little bit less than half. And then so you can see the difference. And then of course the in-kind donation and cargo last year was quite a bit, but it's because of the number of the volunteers, because if each volunteer maybe donated or carried the supplies like 5,000, so of course for the math part is going to come the same as what the donation is. But I'm grateful for this year because it was targeted fundraising, targeted training and stuff. So definitely having spending the $71,000 is quite a bit, and we are hoping to do better next year and increase our reach. And that's why we want to make sure our programs are efficient. So whatever the fundraising we're doing and the supplies we are carrying, it has to be 100% targeted for which program. We're not just collecting for the sake of collecting. No, we are collecting so we can go and use every single one of them effectively. And then so that we impact people who we are working with. So that is it for the donations and the income and then the budget stuff. Okay, so how often do we meet? So definitely monthly meeting is going to be there just to keep up with what is happening, because we're going to have consistent activities throughout the year. So it's good to have an update every month. We're going to try and get, if somebody wants to come and work with me with the minutes and the video at the end, to try and create like a handout after each meeting. I welcome that. I welcome the young people who likes to do little brochure and stuff. So just give you a summary of the meeting in a sense that people can glance through it and have everything as on one page sheet to be able to say that. Yes, when I prepare these meetings, usually I have like 9 pages of content, which it's fine for me, but I want to be able to have somebody who can summarize it and send it on one sheet that what are the highlights for the meetings, to help the people who maybe were not able to come to the meeting. At least they will have something to hold or to say, okay, if this meeting I didn't go, then maybe this is the highlight that part. So it's something that is something new. I hope to do it. And then so any young person who wants to jump up and come and work with me, let me know. Okay, so that's the monthly meeting. As I said, we're going to post this on the Qhsc calendar, and we're going to keep updating every month in the group, so people don't forget. Next. Okay, so for the board members, so by law, we're supposed to do meeting every quarter. So those are the meetings that we have, and it's kind of some flexibility. So if maybe 7 o'clock doesn't work, 8 o'clock works, just let me know. So because that's a small group of people, we can adjust the date. It depends on what we need, but at least we need to do quarterly, so we can have some decision made behind the scene and then help the organization progress. Next. Okay, so training, projected training. So right now, from feedback from the hospitals that we went in the school, we have targeted training still on the neonates and pediatric help baby breathe, postpartum hemorrhage and QBL. Definitely they want that part. And then CPR, we know that part, which is going to include the BLS, ACLS, and PALS. But that's the theory part first until we go to do the training in Tanzania. Session 4, then adult intensive care units. Definitely, we want to make sure that those they get those theory class at least twice before we go over there. So when we go there, at least they have some understanding what expectations of all those devices they need to know ahead of time. We'll be sharing with individual people. So each of these training, we're going to find another person from Tanzania who is going to be also responsible for that area. So the person who is in charge of those these groups are going to be working with that. So then you can make a ongoing collaboration discussion, what is needed for the nurses and the doctors over there. And then so we continue, the next class is going to be beneficial. It's almost like a targeted audience versus just advertising the whole world. Yes, we advertise out there, but we want the people to benefit the most are the people who we're going to work with them. So we want to make sure they have that knowledge before we get there. For people who were the healthcare workers who were there this year, you can understand that when you're teaching them basic things, some of them have no idea what you're talking about. We want to bridge that and make sure we give them something before we get there, so at least they know where we are coming from or why are we basing those suggestions from. So we want to make sure they have that theory behind, and that's why we want to make sure that their leaders also agrees to make sure they plan or schedule those people for those classes. So we don't want to just show up and you're teaching only 2 people while we are hoping to teach 50 or 70 people. So that's, as I said, we're going to do things a little bit different to make sure it's more efficient for the facilitator or the panelists versus the students also, or the audience. OB, emergency, and ER, definitely they need that. I know Dr. Msambichak and Bree did see the emergency room devices and stuff. So we do need to get that thing going and make sure they have some basic things that when the patient comes there require emergency response for them, they need to know what exactly needs to do and how clear should be pictures and stuff we need to share ahead of time. I put that put that class close to the time that the medical mission is happening, because I want to make sure that people who are working on that group, we already start preparing beforehand. Like we already try to get information from there and here, try to give them the things that they will have. And then so by the time you have a class, they have something that they can be opening on the other side and play around with it to try and see, okay, if the crash cart is supposed to look like this, do they have those things? Do the farmers can give them those things? Do they have an actual device that, yeah. So when we're giving them training here, they have something in front of them, they can practice even if the meeting is over. And that's why you see I put it further away, because I want to make sure by then they have that. So when we show up next year, they know what we're talking about versus having everything all over the place. And then the last thing for now is the school collaboration. So definitely this is the part that Mrs. Victoria Jones and the group also, we have to start working with Mr. Frank early on, because you can see I put the first date is February. Yeah, a lot of things have to be done before February for us to host that first meeting. And of course, it's the holiday now, I understand. And in January, when people are coming back, they're still hanging up on New Year's. So that's why I put the first class here. And also we'll be able to communicate with Minazini so that we have something ready to go. And then by February, at least we have tentative things. So we're going to get more feedback from the group to see which way is feasible, which way is practical, and how can we secure from the other side too. Next. Okay, so I know a couple of you people asking me when is the dates for next year. So tentative as of now is September 14 to September 28. It's always going to be 2 weeks. We are still looking for certain things that activity-wise, other than the training, activity-wise, what we need to do during that medical mission, exploring more stuff to do. I know people have gone to Zanzibar and enjoy their time over there, but we probably need to do something different now. And so you can still see Tanzania has a lot of things to offer. So we're going to figure out something else, which is going to be practical. And of course, I'm always looking for places that we need to minimize expenses. So if we get a corporate sponsor who give us $10,000, $20,000, even $50,000, and then definitely the activities other than the training for school or the hospital, it's going to be covered. And then at least people don't have to spend out of pocket so much. And then so then we can go and do something nice for everybody there. So that's the planning as of now. Yeah, definitely the process of the application or recruitment for the going to medical mission. Yes, there's $250 deposit, non-refundable. So if you start the process and then you stop, because remember all the arrangement or placeholders for like flights and reservation or accommodation are already in place. As soon as we start recruiting, I always have to put down the place to hold those stuff so they don't give it away. So if you change your mind later, when it means the money has already been paid, so that's the money that is to recover. However, if you still continue planning and then you go with us, that $200 is going to be deducted from your total amount that you need to pay for the logistic in Tanzania. So you're not losing anything if you keep going and join the medical mission. But if you change your mind, it's going to cost the organization more money. But we just find amount that is going to be reasonable so we can cover all those changes also. And then, of course, activities. As of now, as I said, we're going to get leaders on each group. Activities as of now is similar to what we did now, but as I said, we need to do efficient work. The nutrition and the hydration, the CPR, sports, sanitary pads, thermoregulation, help baby breathe, pediatric cardiac. We know Dr. Sharon there, so hopefully she will join us again. At that ICU, we know we have Dr. Gwen always, so I'm not worried there. Postpartum hemorrhage, ICU, first aid training, of course, for the athletes, and the visual acuity and reading glasses. So definitely for the visual acuity, now we are going to aim on the reading glasses more, because that one also, even if we have any challenges not having the optometrist all the time, but at least the reading glasses should be easier to distribute, because majority of the people we know for sure close to half of them can't read because they need the magnifying glasses. So reading glasses is going to be our way of collecting in the future, instead of collecting prescription glasses, because those ones, most of the time, the strength of the lens is already decreased because of the being used. And then so we don't have a device as of yet, device that will read and give the correct measurement for the glasses. So we're going to refrain from just collecting reading glasses, prescription glasses. We're going to focus on reading glasses. Yes, Dr. Gwen, ICU and anesthesia is the same group, yes. You're still there. I forgot to put anesthesia there, but that's what I was thinking. ICU, yes, definitely with anesthesia. Because remember, for the Mwananyamala, anesthesia, they're all in the ICU helping with the intubation and all the stuff. So definitely those things go hand in hand. Thank you. Next. Okay, so outreach project. So we are hoping, we know also the need for the CPR training here in the United States, and then we are trying to communicate with, yes, Dr. Gwen. Yes, we are ongoing CPR training. So here we are in the United States, we are working with community and churches to try and find out, this is the CPR for the layperson. It means like things that they need to know at home, something that, not necessarily that they're going to train somebody else for CPR. No, it's just like a first aid help at the home if something happens. We know the issue is the high blood pressure increases everywhere. So if we can participate and try to educate the community of how to provide first aid, why they're calling 911, why they're calling for help, at least to start that immediately support for that person who need the first aid. So that's what we were trying to do, working with our community organizations to try and see how best we can be utilizing those collaborations. So we are working with Cross Ministry. Well, Valentine is also working with one of the churches to try and see if we can get the connections and then secure those areas. And it becomes more one of the activities that Qhsc can do. So those activities, we want them to do at least quarterly, so 4 times a year. So if the community requires or needs more than that, so that is going to be discussion. And then if we are able to fit in, then yes. If not, then we plan for 2025, increasing more dates. So as of now, because we don't want to extend ourselves too much, that's why we want to do just at least those 4 to start with, and then see how it is. Because for that project, it's going to be the first time or the initial project. So we need to learn what are the logistics, what the challenges are available, and then we see exactly what we can do to improve the following year. We do know community outreach also for Tanzania. When we went to the magnet in the school, we want to be able to go and teach CPR to the kids. There was 800 kids. Great. So that's why I said the CPR is going to require a lot of people. So if we have people who, maybe 2 of them who are trained, the trainers, and then they can work with 3 or 4, 5 people to be able to help them support that training. So we can get a huge group. Because remember, if we're training the kids, especially maybe we started with the older kids, 5, 6, and 7 years old, I'm sorry, 7th grade. So that's close to 200 kids. And then it depends on how many days we are there and how many people can do it. So it's something that if we're thinking of that, then now remember, we have to have the surprise. Because if you have 200 people who are learning on those mannequin are not going to survive the 200 training, which they have maybe at least each person in 20 minutes or so, because they have to practice, like one rescue CPR and then or 2 people. So those kids also are giving them time to give them the information. It's going to take probably half an hour. So if you're doing half an hour for 5, 6 kids, and then you do for 200 kids, that's almost more than a week. So we do need, once everything is in place, we do need to have a group of people wants to join in and work with Brie for the logistic part, because yes, she's going to be organizing what needs to, the little cards that we're going to give, the certificate and all the stuff. But other logistic part is going to be the group now. So we're going to have the facilitators age, means like the people who are working with her to be able to know that they can, and then she can oversee the rest of stuff. But it's, as I said, the CPR is going to be big because we know there's a huge need for those community healthcare workers. We know it's needed, but also in the community before they get to healthcare workers. Because I think if people remember when we went to Mononyamala and the emergency room, they were telling us that people bring their family members. If they can't work them up, put them in the car or find a bajaji and drive them 30 minutes to get to the hospital. And if you're a healthcare worker and you know somebody has stopped breathing for 30 minutes and you bring them without doing anything else, how are you going to help them? So that's why we want to try to reach out to the community and try to give them just the basic things. They're not going to do all the medication and stuff like a BLS. And that's why we would just call CPR. We just want somebody who can pump that chest as much as they can and try to force that blood until they get help. And then, so that's the part that we want to do. So it's a huge thing. So all ears to hear all your suggestions and how we're going to accomplish that and how can we raise the money to support that program. Cross ministry is going to continue. The one that we do now for the homeless food, that has been successful, and we're going to keep it that way. And I know people love to do that part, and we enjoy ourselves when we go there just to have a refresher and catch up while we are working to help people in need in our community. School bash, then definitely we're going to continue with that part. We're going to try and add health screening, the physical and eye exams. I do have some of the nurse practitioner who is going to work with us. Thank you very much. And then we're going to try and figure out if we have more dates for those things, we can have more nurse practitioners. If you know nurse practitioners or the doctors that are willing to come and work with us, let me know. So then we can try to make that process more efficient. And then if we find somebody who needs referral and stuff like that, so that's the behind the scene. We're working with different organizations to make sure that we can refer those people to go and get help. We just don't want to identify, okay, yeah, you have a high blood pressure. Okay, you can't read, and then we don't know where to send them. So that's the part we need to figure out. So if you know a physician or a nurse practitioner who can accept referrals, then let me know so we can contact them and try to get that collaboration between, and then we give them our credentials, and then they know that we're not just going to be playing around with people. We're just going to make sure we screen and then send to them, and then hopefully they will help those people in the community. Next. Should be. Okay, so shipping. I know this year was a little bit challenged, but we did have two ways of shipping. Some of the stuff we went with it, some of the stuff they have to be shipped. And then unfortunately, the ones that they were shipped late, and then it got there later than us. And then of course, thanks to Dr. Dina Komakoma, Mr. Tamasha Ngalomba, and Ms. Lucia Urasa, and Mr. Amos Gabone to help us sort them out and then distribute to the where it's supposed to be. So we are grateful for what you guys did. But next year we are trying to do this process. And that's why I said for each program, we need to meet early on and figure it out. And then we want at least by April 30th, we already identify things that we need to do. We have collected it. And then, of course, send it to the agent, wherever we decide who is going to do May 15, and then shipping by May 30th. So then at least we give ourselves almost a 3.5 months to make sure that things get there before we, because we needed those stuff, like for postpartum hemorrhage, we really needed more bags. Yes, we have some, but it's hard to work with 3 hospitals for what we could carry on in our suitcase versus what we had, because we had so much stuff. Same thing for the glasses, same thing for the other donation for babies. There was a lot of stuff that we could have used during the medical mission, but we didn't, because we didn't have them in front of us. So if we are smart that way and plan ahead, then yes. And then if we finish shipping on the 30th, and then we continue getting supplies, we're going to start collecting for the following year, unless it's absolutely that we didn't have it on the shipment, and then we can carry it with us. But otherwise, we can start collecting for next year. And then we have a big shipment waiting for the following year versus travel with us. Next. Okay, so they're becoming a members. As I said before, becoming a member, Qhsc members. So the annual membership for the board of directors and the board of the advisors, those they pay, they contribute 150. That's just to help with the everyday function of the organization. For the regular member, is $75 for adults, and then if you're a student, then you get the $50. Qhsc friend does not pay anything else, but we thank you for you being there. Advantage, I mean, there's a number of advantages, and if you're interested, let us know. You know what are the more things that will help by being a member versus Qhsc friends. One of the things that logistically we know that if you are a member and then let's say we get funds that is going to support the medical mission, for example, and then so instead of paying a full amount in logistics, so then if somebody gave a money, so as a member you will get you know, be selected to receive that versus somebody who is not a member. So those are the things that, because you've already committed and you have shown that you believe in the organization, so some of the benefits you may get, your fees for logistics may be reduced because of your participation and contribution to the organization. I don't mean that if you're a Qhsc member, you're not going to go to the medical mission. No, you can still go. We encourage you to go with us and do. Maybe some people want to try it and see, first of all, what it's about. And then maybe when you come back, then you can be a member, which is fine. But you're allowed to do that. Right? So you always want the membership to be from beginning to the end. So it's like January to December. So in general, also, we're going to start collecting the contribution from the members and the directors. And if you have any questions, let me know, then we can discuss. We'll give you more information. There's a number of videos on the website already about that. Okay, I know a couple of people have asked me before, and that's why I added this, but if you want to become an active member and contribute or participate in different activities or help planning these activities, let me know. Then I will tell you which activities we have or which areas you have, and then you can participate. I know there's a lot of expertise in, I mean, media, or if you want to come and help do the advertisement video, please come. You want to come and design our website, that's fine. Come and help us. You want to come and help a meeting, or as I said, or planning with the gala, or help with CPR, or anything that you want to volunteer your time. And then if you commit to it, I will encourage you to continue committing, so then we can make it better. So I don't want to, for example, somebody volunteering and then after 2 days, they don't want to show up at all. But remember, if we accept your request, that means I will not accept another person because we already have you in place. But if you don't do anything, that means it's going to make that project less successful because nobody is putting time in there. So if you're willing to come and help, please come and commit that time. And then if maybe you have maybe work schedules, then yeah, we can discuss and see how we can make it practical for both of us. Or for the group that you're working with, at least we can contribute one way or another and become active. So we welcome any interest. We welcome people with passion and goals in life. So welcome. Okay, so huge thank you for the board of directors and advisors for always continue support, continue directions to the organization and ideas and suggestions. And you always been giving your ideas to what Qhsc should be doing. I thank you. And then members, definitely, and friends, people who have been in the group for a while. Yes, some people are quiet, but once in a while they come up and say something. So we appreciate you. And if I'm going to ask you, if we post something that has interest to you, please share and help us to spread the word so we can get more help. And then, of course, if you, most of you have been donors, and then you've contributing your ideas, please continue doing that part. We cannot thank you enough. Qhsc cannot stand on one person. Always is going to be continue growing. This is the third year for being an organization, but the idea has started a long time ago, almost 7, 8 years now. But it has been grown this last 3 years is because of your contribution of ideas, suggestions, your participation, you're willing to help. So please continue doing that part. I need your help so we can make this better and make it more impactful to help our friends, family, neighbors, and our global family outside the country. And then, of course, for thanking the global volunteers, I want to be able to take this opportunity to play a little short video, and then we're going to be discussing. I'll let you guys now speak.
Qhsc. Qhsc. Dr. Gabon Qhsc.
So all the people who went to volunteer, they are going to get that certificate of participation. So if we had the gala like next year, so then they'll be presented with the actual certificate on their hand. So, but I'm going to send each certificate to individuals who went to the medical mission. You can frame if you want, you can keep it wherever in, but it's just a small appreciation for us from the QHSC for saying thank you for taking the time. Thank you for the amount of money you spend for us, and thank you for your time to teach somebody else, paying forward. So I'm really, really grateful for your presence and believing in QHSC and be able to support everybody. So thank you, and thank you again. So now the part that is left is the discussion now. So again, thank you very much for everything that you guys have done. And you can see a lot of stuff have been done because of your participation. And this organization is not for one person. It's for everybody, contributions and stuff, so which will help. And then so I welcome any discussion, suggestions, opinion. Please, if you can share, that would be great. Mr. Prank?
With the issue of the vision, we're trying to figure out what we can do, the vision screen, and trying to figure out what we can do to move forward. I know Steve was there, so he knows that we still have some people in limbo waiting for their glasses, and I want to try to resolve that as soon as possible. I would like for that to be resolved before the next mission. So there's some, we're waiting to hear back from some people in Tanzania. And then if not, also I have an idea that I'm going to have to talk to Dr. Vanessa and to her husband Daniel about, to see if maybe there's something else that we can do in terms of trying to get more glasses to distribute and stuff. But we're still waiting for folks there in Tanzania to go ahead and inventory all the glasses and everything that we sent there to figure out how we're going to move forward from there. So that's one thing. And then for the school, in terms of the collaboration between Minazini and Daniel Webster. Okay, yeah. So we want to try to get some stuff done. I got to work on a video or two to send you, Victoria, so that you can send it to the class and maybe present it to them.
Okay.
And then also, if we could do something even for African American History Month.
Black History Month. Yeah.
Yes, for African American Heritage Month or Black History Month or whatever, that would be good. Maybe we could just do something stateside, or we could get something from the school, but we could probably use what we already have. Maybe I was even thinking.
Yeah, I don't think they've. Good morning, everyone. First of all, I don't think they've actually started planning for Black History Month. But since I'm new to the school, I'm getting to learn whatever programs they have, and I know they're real big on culture, so I'm sure they're going to present something. I don't know whether it'll be in the program format or what, but I'll be finding out.
Okay. All right, and then as Dr. Gaboni mentioned earlier, I'm going to create a group with everybody from the school, and then anybody else who will probably participate or help, and we'll start discussing some of that stuff. Another thing that I want to do, I'm not sure if it was listed on the agenda because we haven't really talked about it yet, is I want to do like a career day. So let's say someone like Steve, he's there all the time. The children know who he is. If we can get some professionals from the U.S. to include even Dr. Msambichaka, Dr. Gaboni, Ms. Victoria, Steve, some professionals from Tanzania to actually do a career day for the children. Go in there and just tell them about your careers and your professions and how you achieved your goals and things like that. Just to kind of give the children a good outlook and vision for the future, and kind of get them thinking about, if they are thinking about it, or if they've already thought about it, maybe give them some better ideas of maybe what they want to do in the future. If they have some questions, then they can ask and stuff like that. So, but it's not on paper yet, but that's something I want to do. I do definitely want to get some folks from Tanzania to participate as well. So we'll go further into that, and that includes you too, Bree. Since you're a professional, Christy is a professional, and Dr. Tsabichaka can actually do her presentation in Swahili, so that's a plus. I think that's all I got for now, unless there's anything else you can think of, Dr. G.
No, that's good. That's why I said a lot of project and stuff. We're gonna need people to commit, and then you already committed on those ones, definitely. So it's gonna be, now we put it in practical sense, like planning, and put it in writing is to say what it can be done, how many people you're gonna need, and what are the process. I mean, I do like the idea of career day, because that is gonna be inspiring. So one of the feedback that the teacher were telling me from that visit, I mean, the meeting that they had with the kids from Daniel from Texas, they were saying like, oh my goodness, we can talk to the kids in America. They can do this, we can do that. So then if they hear that, okay, the children from America have aspirations, they're thinking of this and that. Even for the kids in Tanzania, they're like, oh, I can be this, I can be that. So at least that is gonna hopefully focus on their brain to focus on positive stuff versus worry about, okay, I don't have food today, I don't have that. But yeah, that part in reality is going to be there no matter what. So I think the career day is a great experience, but logistically wise, how are you going to get all the people together and then make sure that is productive? Or we're going to do like assembly style? So those are the logistics you guys are going to work out and to come and feed us and say, okay, this is how the plan is going to work, and then to try and get it. So as long as we know ahead of time, so the schedule is going to be put together according to what the projects are. So that's great. I like it.
Yeah, and I'm not too familiar. I mean, the career days that I've experienced is generally the classes remain in class. You know, students remain in class, and then individuals go and visit the classes, and then Kipindi Maliza. So when the period's finished, then they just rotate and go to a different classroom. So we could either do one set where they just go and hit all the classes at the same time, but only each class gets to talk to one or see one professional, or we could do two. I mean, it doesn't have to be like, it's not going to be all day long, but it'll just be, you know, like they'll go hit all the classes if we have enough of them. And then after that period is over, then they just rotate to a different set of classes. But everybody's not going to see. So if you have like 10 professionals there, or let's say 8 professionals, every class is not going to see all 8 professionals.
I'm going to be on the other side. So I'm thinking, if I'm a child who I don't know what I need to do, I would need more exposure of how many things could be in life. So if I need to get all the opportunities, I would love to hear all those 8. So in order to tag team and make sure every single child hear those 8 options, I would rather put them in the big, they don't have auditorium, put them outside, sit outside like assembly line, stand up for an hour, everybody say, so they can hear all those people right in there. Because they say a child who wants to be a firefighter. And then so unfortunately, the career day, somebody comes in just speak about nursing or doctors or teacher or something. But then the child is going to think like, but I didn't want to do that. So they're not going to be kind of motivated. However, if you put all of them, every profession is there and everybody can have an equal opportunity, I'm thinking they're going to be exposed with more options. And then you do that within an hour, you tag team everybody else. And then after that, you send them back to the class. I mean, that's just my idea. But if you want them to go around, it might be only they get only 2 people. But what happens if those kids didn't like to be that? That means they miss out the opportunity to know there's options out there. I mean,
that means
I think you're correct on that one, because everybody needs to see exactly everything to make an intelligent decision.
Okay, well then I guess I got nothing more to say.
No. No, that's just a suggestion. You guys are going to figure it out. Because I'm trying, that's what I say, when I say planning, I'm thinking all those healthcare workers, for example, I'm going to pull them from hospital to come there. And I'm thinking I'm going to try to minimize the time they're away from the hospital. That's why I'm trying to steal the time, shortest time, come and impact and get out of there, go back to the hospital to work. That's what I'm thinking in my head. They might not have like the second grade and see the third grade and then the fourth grade. That means the whole day they're going to be there. So that's why my logistic goes that way.
Yeah, I think the only thing I think we could talk about it, and that's why when I make the group, it's going to include people from teachers and professionals from the school. They'll be in the group as well. And then the only reason why I think a lot of times they use the classroom format for that is because it just saves a lot of time. So, you know, you can have a teacher go in there for 45 minutes and talk to a class, whereas if you have 10 professionals there, you know, or if you have more than 10 professionals that can go on for, if you do it in like an assembly format, then you'd have to limit what they're going to say, and that can go on for who knows. I'm not sure how long that would go on for, but so that's just one of the reasons why they do the classroom format for it. So, and then everybody can go on about their business after about the 2 hours, go back to work. But I mean, we'll talk about it. We can talk about it if they want to do something big, and because I mean, it's good for the kids too, you know. So
Okay.
yeah, either or. I'm fine with it, either or. Yeah, that's about it. So, but yeah, so when I make the group, I'm gonna have people from Tanzania as well as people from the U.S. and whatever other country.
Okay. Thank you. Any other comment, suggestion, things that we did this year, things that you hope to do next year? Hi, Dr. Msambichaka.
Hi.
You're alive.
Sorry.
She's
I
got
am.
she's got her hands full. She's in labor and delivery.
I'm sorry I missed most of it, but I figured, you know, better late than never.
No, we appreciate it. Any suggestion, comments from this year to next year?
Not that I can think of. But you know me, if I think of something, I will speak up. Right now, can't think of anything. I love Mr. Prank's ideas, by the way. I think Career Day would be something nice. Actually, I was thinking even further, but I think I would just withhold. I was like, oh, the career fair. What about
No, we want to
tables?
hear it.
I think that the kids are too young for a career fair. I mean, if we employ them, then it would be considered child
labor. Well, but more I was thinking like, you know, just like, but it wouldn't work for a assembly line. But I was thinking it's like, you know, you got these tables and like trinkets, and they come, and but I think Career Day, whatever, how in whatever format, just would be fun.
I think that's a great idea. So even if we don't go like full out with that concept, if we could have some professional organizations there to present something to the children or something like that, that would be interesting. So I think that there's some validity there. I know my job, we would have like a canine performance, you know, bring the dogs, you have vehicles, police vehicles, you know, little, you know, things like that. So anything from the workforce, stethoscopes, whatever, CPR mannequins, things like that for demonstrations. I think that stuff would make the kids go crazy. So I think yeah. So if we can even work with some of the organizations there, I think that's a great idea. I'm not sure if that is exactly how you were envisioning it, but I think that might be like a midway point or something if we can't get like as much of the fair as you're envisioning.
No, that's what I was envisioning, because I always think of like my 7-year-old, he comes home very excited because, like, you know, the firefighters brought their truck. and
Exactly.
they
Or the
treat it,
hat, those little
like,
plastic
or the
hats.
hat,
Yes.
like there's just that is exciting enough. And that he wants to be a police officer because the police officers keep going to their school, and I'm like, let's talk about that.
It's an effective tool.
No,
Talk
also
about
the
that
kid,
in a few years.
I know the kids also likes to be like, if the fire truck comes over there, then they go and take pictures. Oh my goodness, everybody wants to be a fire truck.
Yeah,
Everybody
and
wants to be a
if we don't
firefighter.
get a fire truck, I can actually do the siren myself.
No, but remember, you were in Tanzania. Do they have a fire truck?
That's probably one.
I guess my
Q-
question to everybody is this: is doing all this practical demonstration for the kids. So are they going to do it at the school? So if they do it at the school, I hear you saying bringing all the practical things in to make it more institutionalized or formal, or make it more real. So if it's going to be done at the school in a group setting, I would suggest that also those who have particular clothing for the particular area to wear those. If you have a firefighter, having the firefighter suit, police officer having the police officer suit, whatever the case may be.
Nurses having
And
their
bring all your props with you as well.
Okay, I'm always, when I hear ideas, I look at the logistic stuff. So to me, sounds so much fun. I can be like swallow into it. I'm seeing like a whole day activity, because if you have all these activities and the kids are into it, I mean, it's a great thing. I mean, the kids will probably go ballistic, and then have all those opportunities around and people talking to them. They will feel like, oh, I can be like that person. And I agree with you. If you are on that profession, you have like a specific uniform for that profession, that is going to be inspired even more for the kids. Be like, you make it real in front of them. So, I mean, I like that idea. I can see that idea is growing so fast.
Yeah, and one of the things I would say too, that I have another idea too in terms of like a soccer team and stuff like that. I know we've talked about it, but the reason why I bring that up is because I noticed a lot of fighting at the school, a lot of hitting and pushing and and stuff like that. So I want them to have a vision for the future, and actually feel like they're going to be able to reach their goals and stuff like that. And it's not all about just competing against each other, at the school at that moment, because I think it's kind of hard for me to look and see, like, it's like where I live. I live in Culpeper, so I live in I call it the what do I call it? I call it middle America. So here, after middle school, that's it. It's over. That's it. You've lived your childhood. You've had all your fun. Now you go out and get your job eventually. Hopefully you make it through high school and stuff like that. A lot of the kids here live on farms and stuff like that. Or it's a farming community. It's different. Whereas when you go to these other communities, it's about, high school, college, and, all that stuff like that. So, it's kind of like to get the young kids really refocused, and it's not just about I mean, they have their little experience, but the experience is going to go beyond middle school. And then, like, when I found out that they take that exam, and I think so, once if they don't pass that exam, are they stuck? Harriet Shuby, I'm sorry, Dr. Gumbo. Yeah, that's it. They're done. It's over. Unless they can afford college, right? Or something.
No, and more likely, they might not. That'll be the end of it. And usually that's unfortunate. And I do agree with you. Sometimes they fight because they don't see the end of it. I'm like, they feel like, okay, I have to be tough for my whatever area. So for them, tough means I have to beat up everybody else, and then so I can survive. So I agree with you, career part. And that's why the more you are talking about it, I'm thinking, that is not a simple idea. That is like a grand, because it's going to inspire so much for those kids. And that's why I want every kid get that opportunity to have a positive outcome. Like, okay, even if I'm struggling right now, I can do better. And that's the only way you can be like, okay, instead of like, okay, don't do this, don't do. I mean, you can scream all you want, or you can stick them all you want, but it's not going to change it. They have to change their mind themselves. And I said, I was inspired for that group which was there during their collaboration with the Texas. The kids, like at the end, after we switch off the Zoom, everybody's like, oh my goodness, I was able to talk to the kids in America. You can see the light in their head. They're so happy that they can do better. And then, so that's the part, if we touch it and then get them to realize I can do better, then they will avoid this. I don't want to fight with you. Let me study. I don't want to do this because I want to be this person. So I think that is a huge part. And if we're organizing it well, we're going to have flooded of all the kids from community because they know if we're coming to do that, everybody's going to show up. But yeah, I agree, working with the community and find different sponsors and so they can come and bring things from there. I think that would be a good thing. It's almost like, so I do agree the idea from Mr. Pranka, but also I see where Dr. Msambichaka is coming from. So combining those ideas, I think it's going to make that day very, very helpful for the kids. Nothing educational is going to help these kids to think beyond, but that experience is going to lift them up. I'm sure that when they leave that, they're going to be remember, oh, did you see this? That's the image we give them versus even if you give them the handbook and say, okay, go and read, nobody's going to read it. But if they live that experience, it's going to be more inspiring than just words can go say. So good idea.
And Dr. Msambichaka, I'm not going to recruit you for the committee because I know that you're busy already. But if I have anything to run past you, I'll let you know. And then if you have any ideas, suggestions, recommendations, or people you want to recommend, just let us know.
Sure. Can I just add a testimony?
Yes.
See, this is what we want. This is what we want. Let's.
I mean, this was small scale, but at my previous job before medicine, it was small scale, but we did this, career exposure. I'm not saying that we should do it this way, but this is more just the power of seeing. I like saying you can't be what you can't see. And we used to have this at least once a year at the law firm that I worked at, where we would bring in kids from the inner city of Minneapolis. We always used to choose like a school, and they had to, they had to meet like a certain socioeconomic standards. We would bring them in, excuse me, and they would spend the day at the law firm, going to like different departments. They'll go meet a lawyer, meet an administrative assistant, meet an accountant, meet all these people within the law firm that worked at different functions, even the people that delivered mail, and then at the end of the day, first that we would do it at the beginning of the day and say, what do you want to be when you grow up? And most kids would be like, either they didn't know, or I want to braid hair, or just something that they have seen within their community.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the day, after they had this tour and met all these different people, we would come back and then sit down and, say, so, what do you want to be when you grow up? Then they would go to like, I want to be a lawyer. I want to be this. I want to be an administrative assistant, because now they saw people that looked like them, that were in these positions. And it's very powerful. I just like, you can't teach that. It's like, it's the hidden curriculum, we call it, right? Like you can't teach that. So now that you see somebody that looks like you, that's doing all these things that you never knew they did because you didn't see it in your community, can be very powerful. So I think whatever form this takes, I think it's like, it's more probably going to be more powerful than teaching like nutrition. For example, I'm not belittling nutrition, but I'm just saying, just from like experience, that always used to just like melt my heart to see that just like one day, would change somebody's life like that.
No, I agree. Thank you for sharing that, but definitely I agree. And as I say, I do like that quote. Can I steal it? You can't be what you can't see. That's not
float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. You can't be what you can't see.
Oh my.
Yep.
Okay. Do we have...
I was gonna say too, I was in a career day one time because I used to be a teacher, and I remember and I used to teach ninth grade a lot, which was the first grade of high school. And we had different, the professionals would rotate into the class. We just wait there and they walk in, the bell rings and stuff. And so we get an attorney, and this is the only actual one that, so when Dr. Msambi Chaka brought this up, it's the only one that I ever remember from the whole career day. So the attorney's in there, they're all dressed up, all sharp and nice and everything. And this is in the Bronx, of course. And so, you know, the attorney's a Latina, most of the kids are Latino. And I was just shocked. One kid said, raised his hand and said, has anybody ever gone to jail because their lawyer was not as good as the other attorney? And the lawyer was like, yes, it happens all the time. So, I mean, I was shocked. I was like, oh, that's a good point there. I like that one. So, but it's true. You know, you go in there, you think, oh, I got this great attorney. I got an attorney. And it doesn't mean anything. You know, depends on their experience and who they're dealing with. And it's just a whole nother world.
No, but that's a great idea. And as I said, the reason for the meeting is just that when people have ideas, you have seen it and you know how to impact. As I said, just from discussion right now, I can see that it's going to be a huge impact for these kids who, majority of them don't have a hope. Not that because somebody didn't give them the hope, because they don't see hope in front of them. They see the brothers and sisters finish school, or they aspire of, just as they said, Dr. Msambi Chaka just gave another example, I want to braid hair. Because they see that sister, auntie, mom, whatever, do braid hair and they get some income there. So they think that's what they can do. We have to be able to go and change that mind without even screaming or making them feel inadequate or anything like that, just by showing them that there's a possibility. And the kids will learn and they will see, they'll be like, I want to be that way. They don't care about I don't have the money. No, I want to be that. So once they have that option, their mindset and the brain is going to start working towards that part. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to hear all the ideas. I'm excited. I'm excited of that. Great. Any other comments? Dr. Gwen? Mr. Jones? Three? Ms. Christie? Suggestions, ideas, comments?
No, I'm not anonymous. I'm Sharon. I've been here the whole time.
Dr. Sharon!
Any more suggestions? We did a career fair day with Mary McLeod Bethune. It's a elementary school in Riviera Beach. And so it's a lower income area. And it worked best going from classroom to classroom. We could control the time. We had so many speakers, you know. Also, the age groups, I'm telling you, there was a leap from second grade to third grade in maturity. So if you put them all in the auditorium, you're going to get some kids who are doodling and, you know, they're not paying attention. But if they're in the classroom, like Frank will tell you, you know, the teacher says, Joey, you sit down or you're going to go, you know. So that was all going on while we were talking. I took my stethoscope. They listened to their heart. I tell them about the valves, and nurses were there. There were different. There were attorneys there, and yes, attorneys were dressed, and we doctors had our white coats, and I had my stethoscope. So I think it engages kids. I asked them questions about the book they were reading. They were reading a book on community service. I said, "What is community?" You know, no one seemed to know in the second grade. So each class is different, and they have to be spoken to at their level. So I think it works best to go from classroom to classroom. That was my input. And you almost walk in the classroom and you almost know what you should say to them, because you see what's going on, maybe quiet, maybe studiousness, maybe activity, you know, telling them that they can't learn if they're not listening, you know. But it's worth it, definitely worth it. I just wanted to add in, our church was interested in someone teaching CPR. So there's some activity here in West Palm Beach that can be done in the inner city. So we can get together on that after the beginning of the year.
Okay, no, that's great. I would like to hear some more so then we can figure it out. And for this community outreach, what I'm trying to emphasize when we start communicating with them is consistency. I don't want to just go on once and then disappear for the rest of the year. No, I want to be able to go to establish that collaboration and then do maybe 4 times a year or whatever. So then at least we know for sure for this year, we can come, and then if they are able to gather people quarterly, then yes, we can know for sure, okay, in March we go to this church, in June we go, so that's what we want to establish that part. And if they are willing to help us, because all we need is a place that there's a group of people who will come. We don't have to start searching for them. We will come and then we just come and meet them. So if the church is willing to do that, that would be great.
Right. We have a group that meets, I think it's like Tuesday night. They have dinner and that's where they wanted to do the CPR training. So there is a consistent group that's been going since COVID. Yeah. And that random picture, I'm sorry about that. That was my Sunday school group. We had a Harvest Day celebration. I was like heading that group, and it's just working with the inner city, the mothers. They were all single moms. They had an opportunity to relax while their kids played in a safe environment.
Oh, nice.
And it was fun. I'm exhausted still, but yeah. So yeah, there is a church opportunity with me if you want, and we can start after the beginning of the year. Yeah,
so we can talk now before the year, so we can put it in a program. Mm-hmm. So then, I don't want to commit too many places. So if I know your group is more, probable more than any place, then we want to commit quickly and put it in a schedule. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to agree to 3 churches and then find out that we're extending ourselves too much. If we have a possibility and you're ready to go and your church is willing, we're going to snatch it and try to put it in a schedule.
Okay. Okay,
very good. We can talk afterwards now. Thank you for even raising that part. Bree? Yes. Christy, did she leave? She ran away.
She left, I think.
Mr. Jones, any suggestions other than the vision screening? Oh, let me explain the vision screening, then I'm going to let you speak. So we did discuss about the changing to have only the reading glasses versus prescription. The reason is that now Dr. Redemptor was telling me that if they have a prescription and they have to convert or read it back, then they have to you have to have an optometrist, a device to be able to read that. And that takes time. And sometimes she finds that the lens that was prescribed originally to the person, they use a year or 2 years later, the lens, the strength is less. So then they have to recalibrate or work on it to try and figure it out. So it's not easy for them in Tanzania to be able to figure that part, and it add more work for them. And then also she said, if we're giving a prescription, they have to document and stuff. So it's kind of adding more work for them. And then so she was like, no, next year, you guys, if you need to continue this project, just do readers. So readers is easier. Right then and there, you have an optometrist, you have all the vision acuity and stuff. And then because of readers, all of them are going to be new. So then they can just say, okay, you can't really fit out. You have 2.5 or 3 or whatever. So you might have less optometrists, a number of less optometrists, and then you have helpers. Then you can make it more efficient. And whoever is there, get their glasses right then and there, versus have to go and work and recalibrate and all the stuff. But if we have that opportunity, like what Dr. Stenville had before, because she came with the brand new glasses and she had a little device to calibrate and correctly put the lens that required for that person, and she was able to give them that is an exceptional. So if she's there next time and we're able to do that, great. But from the recommendation for Dr. Redemptor, she was let's just stay with that part. And then of course, government-wise, the governing body, TDA, I think, it's saying if you have a prescription, they have to document and stuff. And then so she doesn't feel comfortable getting somebody else's prescription and then offer to somebody else without her giving it as an original prescription. So I was like, this is just adding more work for us. But that was the background of the glasses. And I know Mr. Pranka had some ideas and he needed to talk to Dr. Stenville. But what is your take also from your experience for 2 years now? No, for the glasses, we're going to be focusing on the readers versus the prescription collection of the glasses, used glasses.
I think if you're asking which one would be better, to me, the reading glasses would be better because you already have them. They are available and you can give them to them. I noticed last time that both times when I worked there that we had some glasses that were prescription that were able to give out and they helped. But this time we gave a lot of reading glasses out, and most of the older generation really need reading glasses. They couldn't see. to read the word. So when we gave them the reading glasses, they were satisfied with that. Some wanted, prescription glasses, but the reading glasses helped them a lot. And then that takes a lot of less time and less time, less effort, and less money, based on the fact that the reading glasses doesn't cost as much as prescription glasses. Okay, but if you have some prescription glasses that are available, I say it's okay to go ahead and give it to those who need it. For those, most of the ones that we saw last year, if I'm not mistaken, most of those got reading glasses, and they was kind of happy with that.
Okay.
That's correct. And then so like what I was saying too is what I'm looking into is I'm going to try to find out if we can find a way, because we have a lot of prescription glasses there in Tanzania. So and they're going to inventory it now as soon as I guess some of the members over there have the opportunity to go to Bwana Niamala. That's where they're at, right, Dr. Gaboni?
No, Dr. Komakoma has them.
Oh, okay. So,
yeah.
Okay, so when they get the chance, then yes, they'll go there and they're going to inventory them and see how many readers we have, how many prescriptions we have. But I'm trying to find out if there's a way in which we can at least get more of those prescription glasses identified so that we can give those out as well. And then that can be because there's a lot of those. That can be an ongoing thing, a little bit here and there. But I agree with what you both are saying. So we'll keep the prescriptions. If we have a way of dealing with those and identifying their strengths, that's fine. But we won't take any more prescription glasses because there's so many of prescription glasses. We'll just work on those while we still have them, and then we'll just focus on the readers until we and hopefully get to the point where we can finish up with the prescriptions too.
No, that's good. And I know, Ada, I think I didn't finish reading Dr. Gwen's message. Yeah, when we were talking about if we're trying to do the training, especially for the healthcare, we want to be able to start doing now and communicate with them even before we get there, and getting somebody who is working over there. So they need to be consistent. So we know for sure as soon as we get there, it's not like we are starting to look like who is responsible here. And I know Dr. Gwen with ICU people, she's been continuously working with them, and that's what we want. We want that collaboration between the facilitator and the people over there, because those are the things that people are learning, and we can hold them accountable because we have somebody else to say, okay, did you bring people to come and learn? We have training next week, or we have training next month. I need, how many people you have to come and learn? Maybe 9 o'clock is not okay, 7 o'clock is better. So then I will get 20 people, because we want them to be also responsible to help us so we be more efficient. We don't want to come to start teaching and you have 1 or 2 people. And then so you don't even know they're going to get that knowledge. And then when we show up, we have to take care of 100 people who have no idea about the theory behind it. So we don't want to do that. That's why we want to be more effective, more purposeful for what we are doing. So then at least we make it impactful. When we get there, they have that background. And then we're talking about the emergency room, then they know the emergency medication or practice, at least they've had it in theory. So now when we expect them to do it, actually do the skills and validation. So like, okay, this is how we do it. This is how we do it. But if we go there and then they have no idea when a crash cut looks like, how are you going to work with them to do emergency response? Because they have no idea what is in there. So we're going to try and do things differently. So probably starting January, people who are in each programs, we're going to try and work on with Dr. Benera and Dr. Sangara and Afande Shija, to make sure they assign specific people for those programs. And we want to be able to have that communication. So you guys will be communicating with them. Okay, we have the training. What exactly you need? How many people? What time? We want to be able to have like almost register them to know for sure I'm going to get 20 people before I come even to teach that class. I want that to be able to be like that. I don't want to just wait for a chance that you guys don't sleep the whole night, waiting 5 in the morning, wake up in the morning to try and teach them. You find nobody in the class. I mean, nobody's going to be wasting that much time. We want also them to be responsible, show up, schedule people to work, and then be able to have that meaningful training to make sure that they attend and you guys have a good communication, and then plan ahead, identify challenges. So by the time we get there, at least there's a continuation versus like initial communication. Yeah. Bree, you've been quiet. What, any ideas? All the grand ideas, Bree?
I don't have any new ideas, but to add on to the gala, I don't know, you had to teach me what a gala was this week, but I do have somebody who's an expert in throwing them and getting them all organized. So I'll have them talk with you and Dr. Randall when everyone's available, because she's very good and very particular, like step by step will plan and help with anything you guys need. And she's a possible sponsor as well who might want to come as so that. And then anyone who has any Etsy t-shirt ideas, because I want to start getting a little bit more trendy. So like Christy, who's in postpartum, if her unit wants to come together and like discuss ideas, I would like to do stuff like that as well. So any ideas are welcome.
Okay. That's good. Lady V, any suggestions? I know you talked a little bit about the Black History Month. Any other idea in the program?
Dr. Golani, I work with Ahead. I think you and Kronk and I have discussed that before, that group that actually introduced me to you. And they are planning together with the Michael Battles, the United States ambassador to Tanzania. They're planning a leadership meeting in July 12th, 2024. And the meeting is really to address some of the things that we talked about. One, to show the progress in Tanzania, especially cardiac imaging, respiratory, but also to discuss leadership. And, you know, we were talking about some of the problems that we saw at the hospitals, the disengagement of the doctors. And they were explaining that being a physician, being a nurse, it's not an esteemed position sometimes in Tanzania like it is here in the United States. It's almost a government worker and people aren't putting themselves full force. So the meeting is going to be on leadership, and I'll tell you more about it as we get more information. We're organizing the we're just organizing the protocol, the itinerary, and it will be at the Kikwete Convention Center. So I'll give you the full, once it comes out, I'll send you the announcement. It's just something to go to on leadership in Tanzania in the medical community. Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Oh, that'd be great. And I think since I stayed at the Holiday Inn Express last night, I should be eligible to. I'll show up with my little Qhsc ID.
You're not even qualified.
Oh, goodness. Okay, guys, that's what I have for today. I will send the video, hopefully. But anyway, so thank you very much, everybody, for coming. I appreciate your suggestions. If you remember anything, please send a message so we can share and make it better and less stressful for everybody who is participating. We all join together to try and save our community, whether it's here or global community. I trust that everybody wants to do better. So I thank you for your time, your contributions, and I will start sending all those meetings, ideas, and if you're in the board members, yes, you're going to get an extra meeting, at least to be able to catch up and start planning and then do these things while we have the time instead of waiting until the last minute. So from the bottom of my heart, on behalf of Qhsc, I thank every single one of you, and let's keep working, and happy holidays. And anyone who wants to work on the video on the holiday, let me know. But thank you very much, and I appreciate you all, and God bless you. We'll see you another time.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Lady V.
Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Say goodbye to Steve, because I think we lost him.
I will.
Bye, guys. Yeah.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Okay, thank you.